I'm thankful that Eli Roth's Thanksgiving has finally come out. Man, we got a cornucopia of kills to talk about. Let's jump into this review. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams, and I am here with a spoiler-free review for
Thanksgiving.
That's right, it's a movie based off of the fake trailer from 2007's Grindhouse, directed by Eli Roth. This is an amazing movie, and I love the fact that we have eventually got this movie. I love Grindhouse, like a little bit of bias aside, I'll be honest. I live here in Austin, Texas. This is where primarily most of Grindhouse was shot. Robert Rodriguez has his Troublemaker Studios here in Austin, and Quentin Tarantino also kind of borrowed like some of that space and also loves Austin, Texas as well. He's done a lot of movies here. And this is a film that's based off an idea by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino to do like a nice throwback to the yesteryears of horror cinema. You used to go to a theater and watch like two movies back to back, and they were like these like low-level B movies. They weren't like the big movies of the 80s, like the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Halloweens or anything. These were like just not movies that were very popular. Therefore, they refer to them as grindhouse type of movies. Just not very, I wouldn't say they weren't very well made, but they were made on a lower end budget. And that's basically what they were trying to replicate with 2007's Grindhouse. Unfortunately, like when Grindhouse first came out, it wasn't a major success, and not a lot of people wanted to go see two movies back to back in the theater for what accounted for like a little over 3 hours of runtime. Some people, like me, big film fanatics, absolutely love movies. I enjoyed every moment of Grindhouse, even though I had completely sworn off going to a theater for a 3-hour-long movie after watching Titanic back in 1997. I loved this movie and the way it was made. What I really loved, aside from the movies, were the fake trailers that they stuck in there. So there was the trailer for Machete, which has already been made into a movie by Robert Rodriguez. There was then also the trailer for Thanksgiving by Eli Roth, Don't by Edgar Wright. There was also the Werewolf Women of the SS by Rob Zombie. And if you lived in Canada, some theaters were able to show a trailer that won, like, I don't know the details of it, sorry, but like a contest where they had a fan make a fake movie trailer to include in this, and that was Hobo with a Shotgun. Before I dive into the review, first thing right off the bat, I will be ranking all of the movies from Grindhouse, whether it was the movies like Planet Terror or Death Proof, or Thanksgiving, Hobo with a Shotgun, Machete, all the movies that have been made from Grindhouse proper, I will be doing a ranking on, so make sure you subscribe to this channel. That will be up tomorrow, so make sure you go check that out. So basically, some of these movies from the fake trailers looked so appealing, they oversold it on the trailer that they decided to make a full movie of it. For example, like I said, Robert Rodriguez made a full movie of Machete. And now we've got Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. Grindhouse came out in 2007, and now in 2023, we're finally getting Thanksgiving, and I am so thankful for this, because, yeah, we are feasting very well on this movie. I enjoyed this movie immensely. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to separate this. I'm going to get into the good real quick. The good with this movie, the story was a lot of fun. Yeah, when the trailer came out back in Grindhouse in 2007, there wasn't much of a story to it. It was intricately created by individual scenes and shots that were really just showing off like the gore or gruesome kills. And this was a movie that they had to expand on just those few scenes to make a full-fledged movie of it. I will be talking a little bit more as comparison of the movie to the Grindhouse trailer here in a little bit, but the fact that they made a full-fledged story was absolutely amazing, and I loved the story that they came up with. There is bits and pieces of it that I would say don't necessarily work well. A big part of this movie is video, is like text messaging, texting, video, texting, or notifications from Instagram, live streaming, and these are all things on smartphones that didn't exist in 2007 when Grindhouse came out. Keep in mind that the first iPhone came out in 2007, so it's been quite a bit of time since Grindhouse came out. And now we have an expanded story on this trailer that's incorporating things that just couldn't have been possible back then. So I love the fact that they took it in that direction, but it is kind of funny if you look back on it. The acting in this movie, I would say, was very well done, even though a lot of lines were cheesy. And again, keeping in mind, this is supposed to be a throwback to like your 80s grindhouse cinema, so it is supposed to be cheesy. It is supposed to be like those 80s movies that always seem to be capitalizing on holidays. I mean, after Halloween hit in the 70s, I mean, almost every single major studio or independent studio was wanting to make some kind of a holiday-centric movie. So we've got plenty of movies about birthdays, like Bloody Birthday is one of my favorite. We got a bunch of movies about New Year's Eve. One of my favorites on that, New Year's Evil. And tons of movies about Christmas. Whereas Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Christmas Evil, there's a bunch of them out there. So yeah, go check those out. If you are a fan of holiday horror cinema, there is a plentiful amount out there. There really wasn't seemingly that much about Thanksgiving. You had Home Sweet Home and Blood Rage, which is easily probably my favorite my favorite Thanksgiving-centric horror movie, even though like it just happens to take place during Thanksgiving and it didn't have much of a Thanksgiving theme to it. I love Blood Rage, and I will always be singing the praises of Blood Rage.
It's not cranberry sauce, Artie. It's not cranberry sauce.
So yeah, it's not like this movie Thanksgiving is like opening a whole new world to Thanksgiving horror movies. This is something that has come before, and it's just not a holiday that a lot of people have been making horror movies about. So I love that Eli Roth was finally able to flesh out that trailer and make a full horror movie of it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. The opening scene to this movie alone, before you even get to the title card, the opening scene to this is quite possibly one of the best horror movie opening scenes I have ever seen since Ghost Ship. And I know, like, you ask a lot of people, like, what's your favorite horror movie opening scene? First of all, everyone's probably going to say Scream, because that one's untouchable. You can't deny that. But Ghost Ship is one that a lot of horror fans and even casual moviegoers would always refer to, because I dare you to name something else about that movie Ghost Ship other than the opening. I can't, and I've seen Ghost Ship a couple of times at least. But yeah, that opening scene is so good. This one, I would say, will rank right up there with it, and I have a feeling we'll probably hear about this in discussions of horror movie opening scenes for years to come. So yeah, I absolutely love this one. The bad for this movie, right off the bat, I will say this movie had a lot of characters to keep track of. We're pretty much centered just in the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, and it's hard to keep track of almost every single character that we're shown in this, especially in that opening scene. I'll be honest, we are shown essentially two different families, but there's nothing to really separate them. At one point, we're showing one family sitting down for Thanksgiving, and then we just jump cut to a completely different family that's sitting down for Thanksgiving, and we don't understand why are we seeing two different families all of a sudden. It doesn't make sense. Of course, after watching the movie, you start to understand who all these people are, but for a while, it's hard to keep track of who's who and who means what to what and what the relationships are, and I feel like that's kind of pivotal when you're watching a movie that's a whodunit. You're trying to figure out, as a viewer, who the killer is and what their motivations could be, because if you can figure out the motivation, you could possibly figure out who the killer is. I will be honest, I did figure out who the killer is almost from the very beginning. Like, from that very beginning scene, I kind of had an idea of who I was going to start suspecting as the killer of the movie. And that's not a bad thing against, like, say, the script. I'm not saying that there's a weak script because I was able to easily figure it out. I'm a big horror fan, and I'm used to looking for, like, different little signs that are in horror movies. So nothing against the script. I think the script and the story, again, were very well done. But yeah, I figured it was fairly easy to figure out who the killer was. And, like, here's the thing. Even though I was correct, I still had fun with this movie. It's not like, oh, I figured out who the killer is. The rest of this movie just, who cares? No, I still was engaged with this movie the entire time. It was so much fun, and I absolutely loved it. The other thing that I will say kind of, that I would call bad is going back and comparing this movie to the Grindhouse trailer. There is a lot of stuff from that Grindhouse trailer that was not included in this movie. And what I mean by that is if you've seen the movie Machete and you've gone back and watched the fake trailer for Machete at the beginning of Grindhouse, you would know that Robert Rodriguez did an excellent job of recreating almost everything from that Machete trailer in his movie. Yeah, some of the actors are switched out and they had to refilm the scenes, but I mean, you could watch that fake trailer and then watch the movie Machete, and you see the scenes that were used in that fake trailer in the movie. I would say most of what was shown in that Thanksgiving trailer for Grindhouse was left out of the movie completely. There are a few things. They do hit a few beats, obviously, and if you've seen the trailer for Thanksgiving, you know this is in there. The real trailer, not the fake one. Like the girl jumping on the trampoline definitely is in this movie. It is done differently. It's not so much of the nudity or any of the gratuitous violence that was in the fake trailer. It has been scaled back, but for example, that is something that made it into the movie. One of my favorites, though, I'll go back and calling this good, is there are lines from the trailer that make it into the movie. Some of these lines that were said are things that either pop up that are said by characters, or if you're paying attention, a lot of them are said like in the posts, the replies, the DMs, whatever they show on the characters' phones. And I thought that was cool that they were still able to incorporate those lines, because some of those lines were awesome. Specifically, I'll give this out. Specifically, the line,
White meat, dark meat, all will be carved.
That was something that popped up in a blink and you miss it moment on a person's phone when they're looking at being tagged on Instagram. I love that they were able to incorporate that. So I appreciate the fact that they tried to incorporate what would make sense from that fake trailer into this full-fledged movie. But I wish they could have been able to hit like almost everything from the fake trailer in this movie. I think that would have been a lot more fun. Otherwise, yeah, again, this is a movie that I feel like is going to sit very well nestled into that horror movie, holiday, Thanksgiving basket. So when you're in the mood to watch horror movies and it's Thanksgiving, you have the family over and the whole family's like horror crazed fans, this will be a good movie to put on. Again, along with like say Blood Rage or Home Sweet Home. These are what I would recommend. Again, I'm a huge fan of Blood Rage. That is my ultimate go-to for Thanksgiving horror movies, but to each their own. Hopefully, if you haven't seen it, go check that one out as well. It is so good. But otherwise, that is going to be my review for this. Out of what, 10, I would probably rank this movie. I would actually give this movie a good, honest 7. There is some of the issues with trying to figure out who's who is what's bringing this down, but I had a good time with this movie. I highly recommend go check this out in the theater. The jump scares are good. Very well done. Eli Roth has made a very good product. And so, yeah, that's going to be my review. What did you think of Thanksgiving? Let me know down below in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What's your opinion? Everyone's got different opinions. I want to know what yours is. Let me know down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. We are continuing to do awesome things over here on Cinefanatics, so make sure you come follow us for everything that we're doing. Otherwise, that is going to do it for this video. I very much appreciate and thankful for you watching it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.